Hey, give you guys a heads up, man. We're still kicking too. I'm still sending an all-call out. As of right now, we have recovered a small child's body. The sheriff's department is en route. I'm going to take you over to the area so you guys can see it. Sheriff's department, BLM, and all authorities are out. So we're going to go over to where one body is, and my team said there's reports of bones where they've been sawed off, but this is definitely a human cadaver. This is between the ages of 9 and 14 years old. It's still decomposing. The spine's still attached to the skull. Yes. Sorry, I'm making a mess. Fuck. Do you know where we're at? Where we're going?
Yeah. Find specific roles.
All right. Okay, guys. We're losing reception on and off. It's pretty on and off, but one of our teammates here, he was actually praying before he came across this. So I'm telling you, prayer's powerful. Whether it's an old trail or a new trail or something, your prayer is very powerful. God will guide you in. Now, this is, without a doubt, just so you know, our team, we wouldn't be calling the sheriffs out here if we weren't 100% positive that this is a human cadaver out here. And then get it checked, get cleared. We're going to go in, trying to find the side routes in so we're not taking any main trail in. We don't want to cover up any tracks that were used. This has been out here for a little while, though. If we do go out, there's a couple sections outside here. This is the Ironwood National Forest, for those of you who don't know, and that's really big, so good luck trying to pinpoint our location. We're not done yet. We still got one more. There's 3. I found 2 camps that were abandoned, marked by white jugs that show signs that, you know, they were being used from coyote. Main coyote trail going up to those. Just follow the black jugs. That's all you gotta do. Just follow the black jugs. So the third one, we just got GPS coordinates from our rancher, whose husband and then they found it. And that's the one we're going to next. That's the third one. Now, this whole area is going to be saturated with law enforcement, BP, and everyone else. And I wonder if ICE and everyone else, if they're going to finally get off their ass and quit lying and covering shit up. But this whole area will end up saturated with law enforcement, which is good. Let me know if you need me to get out to get cleared. So we're very remote. Which I'll go and hit this around. We're very remote. Gonna drive way back out. We're very remote. We're in a human trafficking corridor. Okay? We are very remote. First off, you guys don't have to worry about authorities running us off. We were the ones that discovered the body. So there'll be no running off of our team. They can't run us off. We're the ones, we got to show them where the body is. Right now, they're trying to we're going around finding a vehicle access point so when the sheriff's gets back here, we can drive him back here. Otherwise, we're going to be walking in quite a ways. But no, there was a body found. The age they're saying is between 9 to 14. Decapitated. Spine wasn't with the head. There is rotting flesh on it. There's also femur bone, human bone not far from it. And he said bones where you can see a bone have been sawed, like it's been completely sawed. But this is definitely a human cadaver. This is definitely the cadaver of a small human, like a small human. So don't let us catch you if you got any live children with you. We head back to the site and we can have to walk in from the back, and then because we're gonna have to show the sheriff's that if we can't find a way to drive in. Because right now we're just spinning around out here and we're nowhere near it.
Yeah, there's 2-3 spots where it's something similar to.
Then I'm gonna be able to circle around and bring it back into this way.
left out a straw pattern, but
Okay. Whoever's calling, not now, and I'm not answering it. Sheriffs have our coordinates. They know where to go, where to find us. They just got to keep driving. Our team's out there. Yep. Now, once again, I haven't seen it, but I did talk to my staff and our volunteers, and we're going to want more people down here. We can go out and search every day. While we're waiting for all this, let's just get this out of the way. For everybody still waiting and waiting and waiting, and oh no, are they telling the truth? And oh no, is this really going on? We're going to need more people down here. If we would have had an adequate number of people down there, we would have been able to clear where those two houses were, where I shot that video earlier, those two old drop spots that they were using. We would have been able to cover. Now, I looked on the map, and guess what, guys? I barely covered 5% of that thicket on that map. Okay, and we had teams scattered out over here, and we've been hidden all around to where that property is. So if the scouts are looking, they're hunkering down because we got people popping all around, and now we're going to converge on that property once we hand this scene over to the sheriff's department. But we don't want bodies out here. We want bodies. I mean, we came out here today with, 13 people, and we only had 3 people armed. And we had 13 people, but we had 3 people armed. We need bodies. We're not looking for, we do want a security force. Some of our families want combat vets to come down and stay at their home and watch over their families because they were on the news exposing this shit and they're getting threats.
all right, we have Joy.
Huh?
We have Joy.
Okay, we're going to take you out the backside here right now. This is the way we can bring the sheriffs in. If there's a main trail in and you look to see where the body drops, try to walk in the thick brush. I'm going to flip you guys around. If you guys are calling, no, I'm not answering it.
He was sitting right up over here, just off the path.
How to get over here?
I rolled it over to check out.
Kicked it over. All right. Yeah, and that still got some fresh.
Look at the teeth, look at the occipital.
It still smells real bad too, so you got decomposing. This is still decomposing.
Still brain matter.
This is a small child's skull. This is definitely a child's skull.
And the rest is maybe 200 yards this way.
And the rest is almost 200 yards this way.
And over into here and into there. 200, 300 yards.
All right, so let's stay on this grass. So an animal looks like an animal might have dug this up too.
Yeah,
we find a hole, it was buried.
Said, like, it looks like, it got half buried and the animal found it. So yeah, it's in this.
It's been dragged around. Now, once again, I'm looking at that skull, guys, and that skull looks smaller than my daughter's. And my daughter, she's 9, she's big for her age, but that's a small child's skull. That I can smell it. It stinks. It's decomposing. That's a dead body. And now what we're going to try to do is find the other bones. And I'm leaving the 3 of our staff, 3 of our volunteers who discovered this body with the sheriff's department. I'm taking my team over, and I'm going over to those other sons of bitches that's got a camp over here not far from here. And I hope you're watching because you got nowhere to go, and we're coming right for you, coming straight in. I'm beyond pissed, man. And if you can get down here, we need you down here. We need you in your campers and your RVs. You bring your camping equipment. We got public lands all over this corridor that you could have every right to camp in. And I'll tell you what, we could set up hundreds of camping spots all along this corridor where everybody can see each other. But guess what? The bad guys can't cross through. Like I told you, we're not calling for 10,000 guns on here. We're calling for 10,000 people. You give me 100 badass armed combat veterans, And I think they can handle 10,000 people scouring the desert as long as they're positioned in the right spot to watch over them. They're not going to be able to twist this around and say, we're trying to go start a war or anything else. The only ones we're at war with is the cartels, the human traffickers, and the pedophile ring. Now seeing and smelling that skull pisses me the fuck off. And once again, we could have more than one body. We don't know. Let's go see what these other bones look like. For all you naysayers out there, do you believe in God now? Because if you don't believe in him, I'm going to show you the devil. This is a black drug over here. This is coyote, sign of coyote. Sign of human trafficking. Sign of them crossing under. You don't believe in God, you're not going to believe in the miracles we showed you, then I'm going to go introduce you to the devil. I'm going to show you what evil looks like, because we're going to catch these guys, and we're going to put a face right on it. You're going to believe in God when this is done. This is public land. This is the people's land. You're allowed to come down and camp on this land. They're using this land to traffic women, children, and dope. So why don't we just use this land as it was intended? You guys start heading down this way. Every one of you that was on standby, wondering if we was going to need help, there it is. You got your second one. Let's start heading down this way. Because I'm kidding you not, we can pan out, and there's so much that we got right now, and all of our spots are hitting, and God's putting us on the right trail. We just need more believers to get out here. And I want every naysayer to come out here too. Because there is a naysayer that's on this volunteer team, doesn't really think all this shit is happening. Guess what? He just had a rude awakening. God just changed his heart, seeing that little kid's skull and finding those bones. So you come on and say there ain't no human trafficking in this corridor, and little kids aren't being abducted, and there's no underground network of child trafficking for, and look. So once again, those joining us, we found, well, team 2 over here found, I was on the other side, team 2 found a child skull, decapitated, decomposing. It was just on the video earlier. I could smell it. You can still see some of the fresh decomposition on the side top of the skull. Definitely human. Definitely a small child. Yeah. Your road and skull and everywhere we came back from over this way. Follow that peak. It's your landmark. And there were bones that were scattered out around when they combed through. So what they're trying to do is go through and refine the locations. They have the pinpoints for coordinates on their map, but they're all up over there right now resting for a minute. It's brutal out here and it's hot. And we're not done. Only 3 of our guys get to have a break because they were the ones that discovered the body. The rest of the A team's going over to an illegal homeless camp. And it's not a homeless camp, but it's an illegal camp. And it's an active camp. We got our team watching the vehicles?
Yeah.
All right.
Where's Tex? Tex, did you find it?
Danny's one of the ones that discovered it. She's back at the vehicles for the sheriffs.
Once we talked to Border Patrol, they didn't even care.
Well, Border Patrol didn't care. Did you tell them you found a skull and body?
Yep, I told them that it was a kid and the jaw was ripped off and they were dismembered. It was beheaded and they just stared at me and I was like...
They stared at you?
Yeah, they stared and then they were just like, alright, just phone that.
So BP was BP out here?
Yeah, Border Patrol.
And you told them we had a skull.
A child skull with the jaw ripped off.
And they just stared at you?
Missing. All teeth are missing. There's still spinal cord and still connected to the skull. And then I told them all that stuff, and then they just said to contact the sheriffs, and we asked if they had a better way of contacting them. than we do out here, because they have radios and everything, and they just shook their head no.
Okay.
Pretty much told us we're shit out of luck. We gotta call them ourselves. Why would they not secure a scene?
Well, yeah, I know that. Why would they just leave you guys out here too? We'll get those questions answered, and we'll figure out which. Here we go. We got more black jugs. So they are cutting through this corridor. We're gonna take you guys. You can go ahead and share, because we're about to show you. Show you the consequences of everyone covering up evil and everyone else sitting on their ass not doing nothing. We're gonna show you the consequences of it. Yes, he parked over by it.
And there's a huge campsite area. You can tell that all the bricks are pushed down.
Have we looked around for a thicket of trees? Any place where they could be tied to being raped, or any place we have a dip in the wash, there could be an underground bunker around this area. And I can tell you what, authorities aren't going to be looking for any of that. Yeah. You can smell. All right.
There it is.
Take me through where the other parts are too. So for those of you who don't, there's a skull here. No, I don't want no one else to touch it. He kicked it out from under there to see what kind of bone it was. So, all right. Now you can kind of still see how it's wet, decomposing. All right, this is a water bottle. All right, and there's a skull for size comparison. This is indeed the skull of a child, a small individual. We are waiting for the sheriff's department to come out here. Where's the, all right, the near spot where the other bones are, you guys know that they're gonna mark? They're not gonna be able to say that this isn't what it is. But once again, it could be some just psycho randomly killed a kid and dropped them off, and it's not tied to this human corridor. Could be that. Could be a lot of things. But it does point to the fact that we have children who are in danger down here in Arizona along the border, and little children are being affected, and they're being beaten and raped and killed. And it doesn't matter if it's the cartels, the MS-13s, the Danes, or even the pedophilia network. We don't care. Whoever they are, they're the enemy. Huh? Flip this around. Well, a lot of that bedding down, you'll see mule deers and animals come. So when they come, they'll bed down here. See, this right here is just, this is just animal bed down. This is just where animals are bedding down.
Dude, it's not there.
Man, we need to go back and film it, because
I tell you what.
you can't give up on it. That's someone's kid. You can't just give up. Like, you can't just be like, well, shit out of luck. Like, go back.
Alrighty, you guys all hydrated.
Fuck no.
Well, we got water. You got water over here in the truck too, right?
So we're gonna go back and meet the other trucks?
I want to have someone here to secure this. And here's the thing, when sheriffs come here, they'll be looking for volunteers probably to go out so you can comb this area. It looks like some animal probably got a hold of it. Feels is buried and animals drug it out, so parts could be everywhere. But they'll do a comb search. We're going to a place where we think kids might be actively held right now. That's what we got to hurry up and get out of here to do. So I just want the three who found this body to stay here, and the rest of my team, we're going to go and keep pushing. Huh? Horse tracks. Yeah.
The rancher that leased the land or whatever, he rides horsebacks out here, so he knows about this area.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's how we found the horse tracks.
So we're staying here, huh? You guys are going on?
Well, we're going to wait till sheriffs get here. We're going to hand it over. Where was, you guys remember where the bones were that they were saying that looked like they were sawed, cut straight?
Yeah. Okay, we're on this wash.
Okay.
Tell them that they can tell where it's at by this bag. In the...
Here it is
By
right
that
here.
bag. All right.
Here's where the trucks are on the next wash.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go down this side of the thicket, just about a half mile, and it's right there.
All right, from our location, and that's where other bones are.
Yeah.
Do they look like they're around the same size as with our skull?
I'm gonna say it was probably bigger.
Might be bigger than our skull, so we might have more than one body.
It
Okay.
had a severe fracture from here to here.
All right.
Left side.
Waiting on the sheriff's department. I know they're en route. I talked to them. And Border Patrol, we'll be going down to figure out which of your officers was in the area when they originally took the report that there was a body out here, a child's skull found, still decomposing. It stinks. You can smell it out here. All right? That stinks. That's death. That's death. For those of you who don't know what it smells like, come out here because you're going to smell it all over our desert because nobody wants to do anything to stop these assholes. Nope, I got a lot of you guys calling. Don't call me now. Nope, I got some of you calling right now. I guess you want to come and now you want to believe and don't call me now. You know who I'm talking about too. Because we're going to keep coming out here and do it regardless of whether we got your approval or not. Don't call me now. The only one I'm listening to is God. So I don't trust the government. Damn sure don't trust cartels, the gangs, or anybody. So, I mean, the only one I have to trust left is our team and God. My family, our team, and God. And our team's massive and it's growing every day. These are the remote areas you'll be coming down to search. These corridors are vast. These valleys where they cut up in the washes, they go on and they go on, and if you're not trucking in water, guess what? You're in trouble. I'm gonna work my way back to the vehicle because my phone's dying, heat, and I just ran a whole long video of my search over on the other side. My guys are getting wiped out. I told them today was going to be brutal.
Like 2 miles out there.
Yeah. I told them today was going to be brutal, that we were going to go out and we were going to hit, and putting them out in the hottest part of the afternoon. We're putting them out in the hottest part of the afternoon in the worst conditions possible. This way I can see what type of team we have. Because the A-team, we're conditioned to it, you know. And so these guys are getting a crash course in what it is like brutal. If they can handle what we're going through today, then they can handle anything we're going out. Because they're busted, they're wide open, exposed to the sun, and they're walking for hours and hours and hours.
And hours.
And hours. So you will get conditioned. If you can make it through a search like this, which is what we call a grueling track, if you can make it through one of these, then you can make it through just about anything out here. Because it's extremely hot, there is no cloud cover. But you guys keep sending water and definitely fuel cards. Anybody of you guys, listen, anybody that has horses, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, get your ass out here, please. Please get out here, because we're going to be able to cover a whole lot. Everybody just say a prayer for the family of this child that say a prayer for this family.
I'll tell you, Bruce, we were actually on our hands and knees crawling through some of that stuff to find it. That's thick in there.
And keep praying to God that He'll keep revealing stuff.
Yeah, no, I got
Anybody's trying to say that we're planning this and setting this up and everything, don't do this. Come down here. Come out here with us. Because media, the only way you're going to get any interviews from us is if you come out here and go through this with us. If you make it down through here 1 week volunteering under my command, I'll talk to you for 10 hours. I'll answer every question you want if you can last 1 week volunteering down here under my command. But you're not going to be able to go out and report nothing. You're going to suffer like we do as we go out and find the truth. We're back here at the main point, still waiting on Sheriff's Department to get out here. We had a Marine Corps team that went in, and they did training today, basically a learning class with experts, Ron Thompson. And they're with the Oracle Neighborhood Watch, just so you know. And when VOP first came out here, and they found out that we were going in the south side of Tucson, right in the middle of all the gangs, behind one of the most dangerous parks, and that we were going to set up a fob for homeless vets, they came out and they did patrols with us. They came out and showed a lot of our guys and taught them when we're going through doing these park patrols, the individuals that are armed, like they've never failed us. And if we apply the information and the things they're telling us, they'll make us better, and that's a proven fact. So the fact that we have some expert, and these are people who spent decades in law enforcement. These are experts in their field. And the fact that they're coming up and doing everything they can so we can run a safe and legal operation shows that God's doing everything he can to protect us. So we're taking all that knowledge, all that information, and it's being applied. Now, of course, we are aware of the rumors and the threats, and they're getting ready to try to come and arrest Alpha Team and shut down our operation and everything. Look, we don't care. In the event, you can come and arrest me and my team. We know what we'll do. Okay, we already have. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I know my rights. So if something like that was to happen, it doesn't matter. We have enough people scattered out on land, on private properties. This mission doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop no matter what they do. It's just too big. There's too many organizations, and they don't even know where the hell we are. We've done a very good job at concealing all these other places we are. You know, this isn't just VOP. There are other groups down here, and you don't see them on Facebook. You don't see them doing live videos. You don't see them having to be transparent because they don't have to convince their people of what's going on. They've been down here for decades, and they know what's going on. But now they got support. So everything's going good the way it is, and we've got other people that are in here. We've got some pretty major teams that are coming in. Everyone that's en route, come in and come out. And if you see the government come in and try to arrest any of my team or myself and put a stop to what we're doing, and we're providing this free service, and we're doing everything we can to train and keep our people, if you see them coming in and try to stop us, I want to look at whatever pawns. You look at whatever pawns they use to try to stop us. Because there is a revolt down here on the border, which is why we're trying to call people. There are good ranchers that are exposing the corrupt ranchers. And the problem with the corrupt ranchers is we got a heart for them. Okay, there's been droughts. They can't run their cattle. The BLM seals off land sometimes. They can't even make a living. Well, some of these ranchers have gotten desperate, and the government that wouldn't help them, the government that let them abandon down here with the cartels, they've decided that they were going to go ahead and get in bed with the cartels because they got their own women and children to feed, and they're not getting no help. So people are making they're making bad decisions out of desperation, where if they would have had his support, they would have been honest and good ranchers. So we do know that there's some groups down here, and they don't want us, especially some of these major ranchers that we're parked right next door, some of these properties that God put us in the middle of. Anyone that's coming out to our fob will walk you over about 50, 75 yards. You'll be able to see 2 human trafficking corridor stash houses marked that was found on a live video, and now they can't use them no more. Us being in that valley is effectively hurting their income. So now you're going to have some that are going to come out, and they're going to do everything they can to try to get us arrested. They're going to do everything they can to say that, oh, their property rights are being violated. No. When you let the cartel in your back door and you don't secure your property and they're moving little kids through there, you don't have no property rights at that point. You put our city, our neighbors, and all of our children in danger. And we're sorry the government hasn't helped you. But every rancher down here, instead of fighting with your neighbor, all the brave ones that are standing up and you see the effect we're having, all you got to do is cross back over to the side that you were forced out of. And you were only forced out of there out of desperation because you had no help. Okay, and I'm telling you something. There's no one in our organization that expects anyone to be perfect. I'm the poster child for that. God can forgive everybody. God can forgive and protect everybody. But we're not going anywhere. And those ranchers that are cooperating are going to have those protections to put in place. And it's best just to put a nonsense. So this message is specifically out to the ranchers that are out in the area. A lot of these trails, your fellow neighbors, take them out on horseback ride and show exactly where they're cutting up through your private property. And you don't have posted signs at certain ends of your property, and your coyotes are moving through there. But your main access gates, you'll have posted signs and everything else. But you won't have a 360 perimeter sealed. You'll have an area where the coyotes and everyone else are coming in, and we're gonna stop it. It ain't happening no more. We're looking specifically. We're droning specifically. There are so many stash houses out here in this corridor we're at. And remember, we're just on probably about 0.001% of the border of the area we got to cover. And just right here in this nest, it is amazing how many cleaning projects we got to get done, how many areas we got to keep secured. It's crazy. This is how big the problem is. And the more we expose it, the more you're going to have people try to come out and say, oh, Lewis is, he's crazy, believe in this hype. You're going to hear them use every expert they can to go out and discredit the person, but you won't hear them stand up on a podium and tell you all their numbers that prove for a fact that child sex trafficking is occurring down here. Human trafficking is occurring down here. Dope smuggling is occurring down here. They won't talk about all those numbers they have that aren't true numbers. They're very, I mean, they're minimized. Those numbers aren't the actual numbers. They won't tell you all the evidence they have that gives us the ability. That we got a responsibility. If the government can't take care of us and secure the border and keep our kids safe down here, then it's our job. So we're proving the government right. Everything we go out there proves they're not lying to you. The government's not lying to you. Children are being trafficked across this corridor. Sex camps are across this corridor. Rape trees are across this corridor. Dope smuggling is across this corridor. And it's not just this corridor, it's everyone else. Corporations and private ranchers and private property owners are assisting the cartels, and they've made a huge ring, and they're just like, we need like 1,000 people. We need like 1,000 people just to man the heights and the corridors that they're using right now just to cover our state and to build an official safety perimeter, a perimeter they cannot cross through. Can't use our state no more. You got to go over to California or New Mexico or Texas because we're going to secure our backyard. And bodies out here is the best way to do it. All right? And there have been several people. There's been people who's driven all the way down here and they've been turned around and they've gone back. Because if you can't get through the homeless veterans here, the people that are here that are screening for you guys where you need to first meet before you come out to our fob, you're not coming. All right? And they know what an agenda is. You can't con those guys. They know. They know. And, you know, we're screening that way. And we're not going to apologize for people. If you come out and do something stupid and you put our team at risk or you violate a law, guess what? You're gone. We know how to stay within the laws and to get in the properties and search. We know how to stay within those laws. And there are plenty areas, because they have to let illegals cross through, that these private properties don't have areas where they're no trespass on the backside. And all you got to do is follow the coyote trails. And we're following the coyote trails, and they're taking us into all these abandoned properties. The only place they're posted is by the front gates. And some of these abandoned properties have cameras running through it. And you can go through with some of the videos you got, and you can see where the cartels are having their spotters watch windows, where there's little kids' rooms set up, where little children are being held, where they got guard towers with ladders going up. None of this stuff is made up. None of this stuff is made up. But they're good ranchers that's got our back. And they're coming out there and they're putting us everywhere we need to be. And they're not afraid no more. So to the bad ones, you can do whatever you want. You can get in and work with the government and try to shut us down every way you can. But if you're allowing illegal trafficking to come through your property, we're following them. And we're going to make sure they're not carrying any little kids. And God forbid we find any of them on your property. Because we got evidence of several already recorded, documented, and filmed that it's been happening. And all we're doing is following the black jugs, the discarded camo netting clothes, the Mexican shoes, and they're fresh. They're not old. And we're following them right up into these territories. And we're following the trucks and the turnaround marks. And there's unique markers all around where they know where a safety corridor is. So, have you guys finished up with what you're doing here? Ron, Stewart? This is Stewart Rhodes of the Oath Keepers. So you came out here, and so what's your what you've seen since you've been out here so far?
Well, as Ron was saying, we want to make sure that everything is looked at, and they're taking their time. They're going to look at things. We already have been interviewing witnesses and looking at everything very closely and very carefully to make sure that nothing's left unturned. And so, you know, they're kind of like Columbo. You know, they'll take their time and they're nice and slow, and they don't look like, you know, they're pretty unassuming, but they're old hands at this. So let them have the time to do their work. The backdrop is, we were at the Chilton Ranch last night, met him and his lovely wife. The backdrop is we have a systemic catastrophic problem on the border in Arizona. You have rampant neglect of duty on the border, to be blunt. They let us know that the Border Patrol doesn't even patrol the border on their property. They instead patrol, what, 19 miles north? What's that? 20 miles north on a highway. They're afraid to go down on the border. To be blunt, they're out there by themselves, and we've had Border Patrol killed. So the backdrop is we got a massive conduit of criminal cartel activity they're carrying on here in the United States, just like they do in Mexico. And the children let us know that they really live in Mexico. Basically, their ranch is in Mexico, and so it's systemic. And you got a problem here in Tucson with the chief of police being an open borders guy. Him instructing his men not to enforce SB 1070. When Arizona stepped up to enforce immigration laws when the Obama administration would not, he told his men don't help their own state. And he also instructed his men not to work with the Border Patrol. So we know there's good officers in Tucson PD. Our local guys know some of them. They're good people. But they're starting to leave the force because they're frustrated. So there's a problem at the top. And so given that backdrop, and given the obvious legacy of the cartels of offering silver or lead wherever they go and taking over political systems, and given the fact that you got a town council that's declared this a sanctuary city essentially, and a hostile county government, we don't take anything that they say as gospel. So our guys are going to look themselves. They're going to take their time. We don't like what we see out there in independent media. Everyone just kind of jumping around, declaring this to be nothing but a fake story. We're going to look and find out for ourselves, and we're not going to let that influence us.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, take care, fellas.
Got a question.
Yes, sir. I'm going to end this, guys. We got to get back to work.